I not given you everything that you wanted? A chance to go back to see your father.
Nora.
To run with the Flash.
No!
This is your legacy. Another broken family.
We need to talk.
Yes, Nora. Yes, we do.
The stage is set. Worlds will live. Worlds will die. And the universe will never be the same.
The Flash. All new episodes return Tuesday, January 15th on the CW.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We got to talk about this new Reverse Flash trailer for episode 10 on The Flash. Obviously not coming back till January, but a lot of the questions you have about the Crisis on Infinite Earths teaser trailer that they released at the end of the crossover has to do with their storyline taking place in the future on the Flash TV show. So we got to break it down. Of course, there's a new round of the Flash Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite moment from the crossover on the video. I'll be sure to name a winner at the end of this. So first big thing, Nora and Reverse Flash are in the future in 2049. Reverse Flash is a prisoner in Iron Heights. You see that vest that's just keeping him from using his powers. The producers explained that this is the same Reverse Flash from last year's crossover who had, after he left Barry, traveled to the future, eventually got caught, thrown in Iron Heights. That's when Nora comes to find him and they strike their bargain. They did say that they would reveal what that bargain is during episode 10, but I think it's pretty easy to assume that she wanted to find a way to save her father and knew that the Reverse Flash was probably the only person that could help her, so she probably sought him out and struck a devil's bargain. But like Barry said, it's all foreshadowing. Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, only helps himself. Nora's already proven that she's very vulnerable to mental manipulation. She's naive just because she wants to save her father so badly. She's willing to do just whatever it's going to take. And that's why they developed that special time language. So what they're doing in the future is studying how much they can change the timeline, how malleable it is, so that they can find a way for Nora to save Barry from Crisis on Infinite Earths, prevent the events foretold in this future newspaper from happening without also destroying the timeline for everyone else. So that's the whole big deal. Like, she could save her father, but it would probably cause something just as bad to happen. That's how we wound up with the cicada situation this season on The Flash. Like, the main reason why this is happening is because of something that Nora did based on a suggestion by the Reverse Flash. So we're doing The Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter, Clarice Starling. Hannibal Lecter totally escaped at the end of that story, so pretty easy to assume that Reverse Flash will find some way to escape his prison here, but that'll unfold over the back half of the season on The Flash. So a lot of the rest of their episodes together will deal with their plan unfolding and going off the rails. But here's the big thing though, because the producers revealed in that teaser for Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's happening next year in 2019, not in 2024. So the most practical explanation for that, for the acceleration of that timeline, is that Nora and the Reverse Flash changed something about the timeline this season that accelerates that dramatically, so that everything still goes down, but it happens much, much faster. There was even lines of dialogue in that future newspaper that Nora read that talked about Reverse Flash leading an army of shadow demons. So he's a very big figure during Crisis. He probably tries to align himself with the Anti-Monitor with the hopes that he'll be able to finally achieve his goal of getting rid of Barry Allen permanently without destroying his own timeline. So based on Barry and Oliver's interaction with the Monitor and the powers that you saw, the way he can warp reality like that, I'm sure Reverse Flash would probably try to strike a bargain with the Anti-Monitor. And the Anti-Monitor is actually more powerful than the Monitor because in our multiverse, the Monitors are an organization of people. They're like a race. There's a bunch of them. But in the antimatter universe, the Anti-Monitor is a singular figure. There's only one of them. So instead of having a bunch of people sharing power, you have one figure wielding all power, which is why the Monitor was hyping him up as this greater threat that's even more dangerous than what was happening during this year's crossover. There are a couple really big Easter eggs in this trailer footage that you saw. So obviously a lot of it focuses on the actual Flash Museum. You see a young Nora sitting there reading a Flash comic book with a Flash action figure with a bunch of merch in the background. That's an actual Flash title from real life. But based on this shot here, I can't see the actual cover, so I couldn't tell you which actual comic story she's reading. We'll probably get a better look at that when we see the actual episode, but obviously she grew up at the Flash Museum, so of course she'd be spending a lot of time there just reading all the Flash stories. But how funny is it that Barry's adventures in the Arrowverse characters, the Flash characters, inspire comic book creators in the future to form a version of DC Comics, then make the comics which all these TV series are based on in real life. So that's like the Ouroboros of it all, like the snake eating its tail. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Probably one of the best meta Easter eggs ever. It'll make your head spin if you try to think about it too hard. But then you see a shot with Barry, and it seems like Nora takes him to the Flash Museum in the future because you see all that Flash merch in the background there. All the voiceover dialogue from Reverse Flash seems like he's really pissed off with Nora, like it's a continuation of the conversation they started in the clip at the end of episode 8 that I put at the beginning of this video, where he's like, oh yes, we do need to talk, Nora. It sounds like she might not be holding up the end of whatever bargain they struck together, so he's probably disappointed in her, and he says that she's destined to leave another broken family behind. There's probably something about changing the timeline and it hurting other families, like leaving families broken, so he's probably trying to get under her skin. Remember, he's a psychopath, so he's trying to manipulate her so that he can escape and go on doing whatever it is that he wants to do. The other really cool Easter egg in here too is that you see a copy of the physical Now Future newspaper with Barry with a crisis headline that Iris wrote. The funny thing about this is that remember, the one that we've been reading is just a digital copy of a physical print that happens in 2024 after this all goes down. So in the Flash Museum in the future, they actually just sell physical copies of that actual issue. I think Iris probably ends up winning an award for it. But because of all the timeline changes in the 2019 crisis instead of 2024, I love that they cut the date off in this shot. Like you can't see the date on the actual physical newspaper. So most practical explainer for 2019 crisis is that as they continue to manipulate the timeline, Nora obviously trying to do it for a good reason to save her father, and Reverse Flash for his own selfish reasons, they accidentally or maybe on purpose accelerate crisis so that this looming threat happens much sooner than it was originally supposed to. And don't forget the other meta stuff that's happening in real life too, because some of the Arrowverse shows will probably go off the air in the next couple of years, so I think in real life, they wanted to find a reason to accelerate Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like, let's not wait a bunch of years to do our really big event. Let's do it as quickly as possible. So why make all the fans wait another half a decade just to get this? In this whole plot line with Nora in Reverse Flash just provided a really easy solution to that problem. Like, oh, well, they'll mess up the timeline and it'll accelerate things, and then we can do Crisis next year and it'll totally make sense. But what's not clear from all this footage is whether or not Barry immediately learns out that she's in league with the Reverse Flash, because he would be pissed about that. Like, even if Nora were doing it for the right reasons, he is still never going to trust Eobard Thawne. During the crossover, Oliver Queen had all those comments about changing destiny, so I do think that Nora will be successful, but a lot of it will be due to the sacrifices that Oliver Queen will wind up making during next year's Crisis crossover. So early theory, even though Stephen Amell has already signed a deal to come back for Arrow Season 8 if they get renewed, and it seems like it will, it just seems like they're trying to find a big moment for him to potentially go out on if that's the case. But post all your theories in the comments below. Do you think that it's Nora in Reverse Flash that are the reason why Crisis is happening so much sooner? What'll happen is there was a whole bunch of new Venom deleted scenes and post credits that just dropped, so I'll do a video for that next. Leave your requests in the comments below. There'll be a whole bunch more comic book stuff happening in the next couple of days. Congratulations, Skull Crusher Pro, you're the giveaway winner from my last big DC video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Click here for all my crossover episodes and Easter eggs, and click here for that brand new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer breakdown. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.